For the longest time, AI has lived inside our screens, right? But what happens when it gets a body? Well, today we're diving into the dawn of physical AI, and you'll see how it's already starting to reshape our world.
You know, for decades, we thought of robots as just tools, as machines that do exactly what we tell them to. But what if that whole relationship is about to change? I mean, what if they could become actual teammates? And that's really the core idea here. We're seeing this massive shift in robotics. They're finally moving beyond those cages on the assembly line and stepping out onto the factory floor to work right alongside people.
And listen, this isn't some far-off sci-fi idea. Pioneers like Hyundai Motor Group and Boston Dynamics are making this happen right now. They're literally building a new kind of human-robot team, and it's changing what's possible in manufacturing and, honestly, way beyond.
So, what does this new kind of coworker actually do? Well, picture humanoid robots like the Atlas model, taking on jobs that are super dangerous or mind-numbingly repetitive, or that require just insane levels of precision. But here's the real game changer. They aren't just programmed for one single task. Thanks to AI, they can learn new skills pretty much on the fly. But how is any of this even possible? I mean, it's one thing for a robot to be physically impressive, but how does it know what to do in our messy, complicated world? Well, it all comes down to the brains behind the brawn. The tech that's powering this whole leap is called a Vision Language Action Model, or VLA for short. The best way to think about it is like a universal translator between our world and the robot's actions. It gives the robot the ability to see, to understand what we're saying, and then to actually act on it. Okay, let's break that down. First up is vision. The robot sees and makes sense of its physical surroundings. Then comes language. It understands a command from a person, something like, hey, pick up that box. And finally, action. It figures out how to do that and performs a new physical task, maybe one it's never even done before. This really shows just how huge this shift is. We're moving from the old world of scripted automation, where a robot does one thing over and over, no exceptions, to this new world of generalist robotics, where it can understand and adapt to totally new situations. It's the difference between a simple tool and a true teammate. But the vision here doesn't just stop with one super advanced robot. So what happens when you get a whole team of these intelligent machines working together? Researchers are already digging into this with prototypes that have these wonderfully weird names like robo-ballet. It sounds elegant, right? And honestly, in a way, it really is.
See, robo-ballet is all about coordination. It uses a type of AI called reinforcement learning to teach a whole group of robots to work together with the grace and efficiency of, well, a dance troupe. The goal is to crank up productivity and solve really complex logistical puzzles in places like warehouses and factories.
Okay, so we've seen how robots are becoming collaborators, how these VLA models give them a way to understand us, and how they can even work in teams. When you put all those pieces together, you get something totally new. You get the dawn of physical AI. This is the moment when artificial intelligence gets a body and can finally act in our world.
Now, the more formal term for this is a physical AI agent. And it's not just a robot, and it's not just an AI. It's the two coming together, an embodied system that can actually perceive its environment, make its own decisions, and then act on them.
It really all boils down to these three core functions. First, it can sense the world around it. Then, it can reason about what it's sensing to make a decision. And finally, it can act on that decision, all by itself in the real world. Sense, reason, act. That's the powerful loop that defines a physical AI agent.
So, here's the most crucial point, the big takeaway. For years, AI has been stuck inside our computers, right? Trapped in the digital world, just analyzing data, maybe writing text or making images. But that's all changing. AI is now breaking free from the screen.
And that leaves us with this one last, pretty fascinating question to think about. As this incredibly powerful intelligence gets a physical body and starts to operate in our homes, our workplaces, our cities, what will we, humans and physical AI, build together?